it's so easy to be scared and think I'm never going to change because this is the way that I've always been. But when you make that investment and you put in the work, freedom is on the other side of that. And so, are you going to move closer to the freedom, or are you going to still be in the same place in 3 months? And I definitely feel like at the end of the 12 weeks of Reconnect Academy that I am very close. I think it was a way for me to examine my relationship with food, but also with myself. I thought that I had had the best thing ever through diet and through excessive exercise. And that made me feel freedom around food. And so I couldn't imagine what food freedom would look like without that. And so what I learned through Reconnect Academy was that it could be better than diet and obsessing exercise, that I could actually be free around food and I could feel good about the choices that I'm making. I had done a lot of dieting. And when I say dieting, it wasn't always under the label of diet. I did a lot of what I would call lifestyle protocols and plans that were wellness speak for diet. But I was really in a place of knowing that what I had done was not sustainable, even though I had sustained them for years at a time. There was always a point where it became something that I could not do with ease. And so I internalized that and had a lot of shame about what's wrong with me that I can't make this stick? Why is this not working for me anymore? Because everything that I have ever done, and I did a lot of things, they worked until they stopped working. And I always question myself, what is it about me that is making this not work anymore? That's really when I found Reconnect Academy and thought, well, maybe it's not me. Maybe I wasn't broken. Maybe there was something to examine within this relationship with food that was not putting myself at blame for why this wasn't working. Now I'm like, oh, I know there's nothing wrong with me. It's these plans that I went into trying to fix this thing that's not actually broken with me. Once I got through some of the mental things, the biggest lesson for me was really understanding the principles of intuitive eating, because I think that it's something that gets thrown around a lot. I never really understood exactly what it meant. I always thought that it just meant you eat whatever you want. It's not exactly that way. You do eat whatever you want, but in a way that is mindful and in a way that is in touch with your body and a way that serves you instead of just binging, which is what I thought intuitive eating would lead to. I would say that I am pretty darn close to embodying freedom with food, which is just completely opposite of where I was before. I don't fear any foods. I don't label foods as good or bad. There is no morality associated with food. I can eat the foods that I want without guilt. And I was never able to do that before. I was initially overwhelmed because I'm like, great. I'm someone who strategizes as like, being on an island, and I isolate myself when I'm sort of feeling in danger. And going into Reconnect Academy, I was very nervous about being in a group setting and opening up to strangers and fearing that judgment. But oh my gosh, it was really the safe space of connecting with other women and knowing that we're all going through similar things, and it doesn't look the same for each one of us, but we're all working together and sharing this space of working through the same things. And I loved the small group. I love being able to connect in a more intimate way and having a space where I can share, but I can also listen. And it's just such a wonderful space to have people to talk to about the things that are most bothering you and that I felt the most shame about, and knowing that I was not going to be judged, and it was just a complete safe space. And it was just the most beautiful thing. I remember us being on that discovery call, and I have no idea the price when I'm on that call with you until the end. And it's like, I know that I have this money that I can invest into myself, but am I actually going to change? Are these things that I have been feeling all of my life, is there a possibility that I can actually change? So there was definitely fear for me. And I think probably around week 2, week 3, I really started seeing thoughts as they come up and really start to think in a different way and think, oh, well, maybe this could work out for me. Maybe things could change. Once I sort of had this click about how I had been restricting food and how that was this mental thing for me, it unleashed this freedom for me that I did not think was possible. And that was worth the money in itself. Just that realization that, like, oh, I don't ever have to go on a diet again. I don't ever have to restrict myself again. And I'm going to be okay. I definitely understand the fear around investing in something that you don't know if it's going to be worth it. But going through and uncovering a little bit more each week, everything that came up, it was just like a little piece that I could put together of the big puzzle. All of these pieces at the end of the course added up to this big picture. And for me, that big picture was freedom. And that was the picture that I wanted to see. It was absolutely worth it. It's so easy to be scared and think I'm never going to change because this is the way that I've always been. But when you make that investment and you put in the work, freedom is on the other side of that. And so are you going to move closer to the freedom, or are you going to still be in the same place in 3 months? And I definitely feel like at the end of the 12 weeks of Reconnect Academy that I am very close. The therapy and the diets and all the stuff that I've done, like over the years, I've made more progress in Reconnect Academy than I have in my whole life of therapy and trying to resolve weight loss. And so I think that you definitely cannot put a price on that.